Hello, and welcome to another episode of the She podcast. Be seen, be heard, be empowered. And I'm really excited to be bringing you my guest today. Her name is Renee Hughes, and we have an awesome conversation for you around releasing money blocks, limiting beliefs, and also how to balance our entrepreneurship journey with our personal life. So, hi, Renee. How are you today?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing well. Today's
Thank
a
you so
great
much.
day.
It is a great day, and thank you for
Mhm.
joining me. Before we dive in, Renee, I just want to give everyone a little background about you, and then we'll get
Mhm.
that conversation going. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Okay, awesome. So Renee Hughes is a trailblazing six-figure aromatherapist and business mentor who has shattered the myth that success in the clinical holistic industry requires endless hours and burnout. With a part-time approach, Renee has not only achieved remarkable financial success, but has also supported hundreds of practitioners through her masterclasses and workshops. Renee understands the challenges that many clinical holistic businesses face, feeling overwhelmed, overworked, and unsure of how to effectively communicate their value. That's why she is dedicated to showing entrepreneurs that a thriving business and personal well-being can coexist harmoniously. And I love that you say that in your bio because I think
Mm.
that's really important, especially me as a female entrepreneur building my business as a single mom. That's one thing I had to create balance around, like really being able to fit my business into my life, not the other way around, which is how
Yeah.
I started. So
Yeah.
Renee, when you started your business, was this a personal journey that you had been on, which led you down this path, or was this something different for you when you started?
It was a combination. It was a personal journey. I started my personal journey in health and wellness in my late teens.
Oh.
And I became one of those, Google researchers. Anything, health related, I was absorbed in it.
Mm.
But it wasn't until 2013 that I actually went back to school and said, you know what? I want to do this as a career. I need to be officially educated and I need to know what's really, going on. So in 2013, I went to school to become a natural health consultant. And
Mhm.
then I went back to school to specialize in aromatherapy. And then since then, my focus is psychoaromatherapy. But I knew that I wanted my own business, and I actually had started my own business back in 2009. But it was focused on business and marketing because that's where I was comfortable. And then, but my personal health journey just kept saying, you've got to do this, for real. And so in 2013, I jumped into the health and wellness space.
Wow, that's amazing. So what, for those of you who may not be familiar with it, can you share what is aromatherapy? What are the benefits?
Yeah, I love that question because we overuse the word. So it's an actual therapy. Sometimes anything that smells good, people say, "Oh, it's aromatherapy soap. It's aromatherapy bath, toothpaste, whatever." But really and truly, it is a therapy where essential oils are used to
Mhm.
create a result, to facilitate a result, and it can be a reduction of pain, physical pain, emotional pain. That's what I feel like essential oils are stars at, but it's also for immune support. But it's a true therapy where we're using the plant chemistry from essential oils to create a result.
Mm. So do you work with do you work with a range of clientele depending, or do you have like your clientele has a more consistent type of ailment?
Yeah, I always recommend to specialize. So when you go to school, you can. It's kind of like not that I'm a doctor, but when doctors, this is what I always tell my clients. When they go to school, they learn all the things,
Mm.
but it's better if they can specialize. This is an allergy specialist. This is your cardiovascular specialist. That it's just it brings you um, a better business and more money for sure.
Mhm.
And so with aromatherapy, my clients, I focused on psychoaromatherapy. I focus on the brain and the emotions. And I use that in helping my clients. All of my clients are entrepreneurs in the health and wellness space.
Okay.
So they're growing their clinics and they're growing their practices. And I use aromatherapy to help them in how they think and feel. And then, if somebody needs the other portions of it, the immune support, the this and the that, I have the knowledge, but my focus is on emotional support in
Mm.
my practice.
Yeah, I love that you're kind of you're niched. So
Yeah,
you
very.
specialize in one specific area because I've seen people sell, they're in the aromatherapy space and it's just like
Hmm.
they can help you with all the things. And like
Mhm.
you said, when nicher is richer, broad is broke. So I
Mhm.
always share that with my clients as well as a business coach. Find your corner of the market. We don't need to
Yeah.
help everyone with everything. Find your corner of the
Mhm.
market. So I love that you shared that you do that.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest challenge when you started your business years ago? What was the biggest, one of the biggest challenges you faced?
I would say the biggest challenge is the first big challenge was figuring out what I really wanted to specialize in. What you just said was so rich and true. I really struggled because, as I said, I started in business and marketing because that's what I was comfortable with.
Mhm.
But it's not what I wanted in my heart and mind and soul. I wanted the health and wellness, but then I felt like I was too old to go back to school. So that was a challenge. I had to, my own mental space was a challenge because I was just like, I can't start over in my 40s already when I went back to school. And so it's like, okay, that was a huge challenge, just my mental and emotional state to say you can reinvent yourself. Why not? And I'm so grateful that I did, but that was a huge challenge. And then I think after that was niching again, getting
Mm.
into health and wellness, but then realizing, yeah, even in this space, I still need to get a little more focused and specialized. Yeah.
Well, whatever you're doing, you look amazing. You look really
Thank
young.
you.
You mentioned you like started this in your 40s. I was like, wow, because you
Yeah.
look amazing. I would have never guessed. So for those of you listening, go check us out on YouTube and just see how amazing and beautiful Renee looks and is, because whatever she's using, get with her and use that. I'm gonna tell you.
Thank you.
Um, I don't know if it's if I'm sure it's the aromatherapy and the water, whatever you're
It
doing.
helps.
Uh, So can you share too, you shared your challenges. Now, did you have any fear that you felt was like that you needed to step into or maybe held you back a little in when you
Mhm.
first started, or even maybe that comes up every now and then for you?
Yeah, it still comes up sometimes. I had a fear, I had a big fear of failure,
Mm,
but I also had a little bit of fear of success. The fear of failure was it felt like what I desired and what I have now at the time felt too big.
mm,
And who am I to do something like that? I just was not someone who was known for like being a go-getter and oh yeah, she can do anything. I just wasn't that wasn't what I had been labeled my whole life. I'm very introverted. You can't tell, but I am. And people just never that's not what was expected from me. Do you know what I mean? It's like people
mm,
have a certain expectation, and it's just like if somebody else might say I'm going to create this fabulous business, I'm going to be multiple six figures and I'm going to do this and that, you might say yeah, you can do it, but for me that wasn't the thing. So it felt too big. That was the one thing. But then as it started to kind of happen a little bit, I got really scared about the success. And that was attached to, I had to figure that out, but that was just attached to, am I going to change the kind of person that I am? Because sometimes we attach um, doing well secularly and financially to not being a good person, not being, well balanced, especially when it comes to just being a good spiritual balanced person. And I had some fear that, okay, I'm getting too big now. I need to, and it's not like we have a gazillion clients or anything like that, but it was just getting so public and becoming known. And I felt like I needed to pull back. So I
mm.
had fear on both sides of that I had to push through and still do. I still have to push through on some days.
So what is it that how do you push through that for you? Just for those that listening that may have, because there is, I sometimes people get a fear of success. Well, what if I do hit it where I want to be? Then I have to
Mhm,
maintain it. And the pressure of that will stall us and paralyze us too. So for your fear of
mhm.
failure or fear of success, like what helps you push through when that still comes up?
I thankfully have people in my corner that I can talk to. My husband it does have that personality that people expect those things from him. And he always said, from the beginning, we got married in 2002 and he's like, we're going to have our own businesses and we're going to travel the world and all these things. And I remember looking at him and thinking, oh, gosh, he's such a dreamer. Like that's never going to happen. You can't have it all. And he's just like, why not? Why can't you? And I've adopted some of that. And so having him to talk to and bounce things off of, family, good solid friends, my congregation, prayer, all of those things help me to reset and kind of clear my mind and give me something to hold on to so that I know it's okay and that I'm
Mm,
going to be okay and what I'm doing is good. So those things help me. And honestly, my clients too. When I really feed off of hearing how well they're doing and how things have changed for them, and it gives you this feeling of, I really can't stop because this is something that's working for them. It feeds me to, it's a beautiful journey. Why not, why not keep that going?
Yeah. That's so, I'm going to say awesome that you had a really strong support system, especially with your husband, your spouse. Because some women don't, some entrepreneurs don't have that. So
Yeah,
they're battling against their dream and their vision and their goals, and then their family or somebody that's close to them not fully on board supporting. And many times that
right.
stems from their fear of not wanting
Mhm.
us to fail. So not only do we have the
Yeah,
fear of failure kicking in, we've got their fear of failure, trying to keep us safe and protect us as well. So I
that's it.
love that you had that. So if, for you listening, that's really important and key when no matter where you're going in your business, because every time we're moving to another level inside of our business, whether you're just getting
Mhm.
started or you're in the scaling mode of moving to that next income level or those next big goals, no matter what it looks like, find that support system. And that's why I love bringing on female entrepreneurs who are doing it themselves and being willing to be vulnerable and open with what they've gone through and still go through, because it's really important, if we don't have that support system at home, to know that we're not alone. We're not alone in the journey. So you are, I want to talk really quick before we go into balance. Another fear that I saw that you have, what that I read is around when you started, like you're a practitioner, you went, by first and foremost. So how was it when you started getting into sales? Was that scary in asking for the sale or money or anything like that?
Initially, it was I understood business and money because my background was on Wall Street in its heyday. Late
Mm,
'90s is Wall Street, and that's where I really learned money from the men that I worked with, and worked for, and I learned so much from them. So I wasn't afraid of money itself, as many people are. I was afraid of what having it would mean, if that
mm,
makes sense. And then when it came to selling itself, you know, when you're working with someone's health and they need you, and you're saying, okay, but you have to pay for that. It's very different than, if it's something, you're paying for somebody to fix your car or something like that. This is something that a person needs. And so what got me past that is I realized that if I was working at a emotional or physical or financial deficit myself, I could not help them.
mm,
And when I really sat with that and really realized, hey, you're trying to balance all these things, you have to work. If you're going to do this and really give people your all so that they can get well, you have to do it as your income. You've got to get income from it. Otherwise, where's the income going to come from? It means me having to get other work to pay for my life and then do this quietly on the side. And no, I wasn't going to do that. That's not giving it my all. And so, in order for me to be committed to these people who I was helping with their health or wellness and their businesses, I had to have the business pay for my lifestyle. And
mhm,
so now, once I got that, when I got in front of somebody, I only thought about their results. And I realized if this person doesn't work with me, they're not going to get the results that they need. And
mm,
I'll give you a little story on that where I really knew I had finally gotten it. This is something I want everybody to really listen to because this happens to us a lot, especially as women. We undercharge and we're thinking, gosh, I want to get more clients. Let me run a sale or let me have a really low price to offer, right? And I had made the decision that I know what I'm doing works, and I had to made the decision to go into high ticket. Prior to that, I had clients on very low ticket offers, $100, $150 offers. They wouldn't show up for their sessions. They weren't getting results, the whole nine. I then launched my first brand, which was the Moot Makeover Method, and it was a $2,000 package. It was essentially the same thing that I was giving people who were not showing up for their sessions and the whole thing. I had added some things, but it was essentially the same thing. Some of those same people who didn't take me up on that offer or who took me up on it and didn't show up for sessions, because I learned how to package my messaging
mm,
and I was so passionate about my results and the benefits, and I changed my messaging and I launched this product. Some of those same people paid the $2,000, got amazing results. And one of them was a good friend of mine who I knew wasn't working at the time. And instead of going into it in our sales conversation with guilt, I went into it with so much hope for her because I knew what she needed. And I
Mhm.
focused on that. She found the money and she got amazing results. This is someone who would wake up in the night in panic attacks, screaming, had to be admitted to the hospital.
Wow.
No longer has them. This is somebody who's on the verge of divorce, who's got an amazing relationship and marriage now. So when you focus, you guys, focus, and ladies and everybody, focus on the benefits of what you're giving a person, you'll be able to move past that thing with money a lot
Mhm.
easier.
Thank you for sharing that, because I think
Mhm.
it's going to be really eye-opening and a lot of ahas for our listeners. And so I'm super grateful that you shared. And something I've heard is selling is serving. So when we get out of our heads that we're being salesy or anything like that, we're not leading with our heart. We're not leading with the solution. We're not leading with them, the person that we're talking with their solution and their vision in mind. We're leading with our fears. So that's why I tell everybody, I'm like, make sure you're in tune with the vision of your potential client, because that's what you get to be enrolled in. If you're not enrolled in their vision, then don't even bother making your offer. And if we're not selling, we're not making our offer, somebody's not being helped. And I love how you lead with your heart. You have such a passion for what you do. You're passionate about the results give your clients. You can create massive results, and they get to invest in themselves in order to get there. And you've done both sides of the coin there. And you know that the people that invest are going to do the work and get that success. So that's what you lead with, their results, which you said, and I absolutely love. Huge aha and takeaway for me too, because I love it. It's always good to rehear these things and actually
It
see it,
is.
from somebody that it's scary to go to high ticket, right? It's nerve wracking because you're like, oh my gosh, like, is it worth it? Will they get the results? It will, are they going? And at the end of the day, as service providers, whether you're coaches or you're practitioners or whatever industry you're in, our goal is to get them results,
Yeah,
and they also get to show up for themselves.
that's right.
Yeah. So,
Exactly right.
and as scary as it is, you've stepped through a lot of fear. And so thank you. That's amazing. So I know that's going to inspire some women to go, okay, I get to raise my prices because
Yeah.
I'm doing this for my clients to make sure that they're getting results. Because most people, when they do invest in that kind of level, they're going to show up. They're going to do the work.
100%. That's so
Yeah.
true. Mhm.
So let's talk about balance. We talked a little bit about this before. It's a really big talking point for me and passion for me with entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, because we're nurturers. We tend to put everybody in front of us and put ourselves last. So it's really important that and I did it when I was running my business when I started, and I still find myself, zigzagging between it and having to check myself with my children, because it's like my business can run my life versus my life running my business. And your business should fit into your life. And you not only have your business, but you also have another thing going on. So, and you have a husband. So how do
Yeah.
you create that balance in your life with maintaining success for your clients, running a multi six figure biggest business that you have, a successful business, and everything else that you juggle as well, and your marriage and your husband?
Yeah, it's not easy, and it's something that we have to revisit often. But what's helped is being on the same page. You mentioned something earlier. Sometimes you don't have that support, and you have people pulling at you.
Mm.
I have so many clients who try to build their business in the wee hours of the morning and late at night so they don't bother anybody, and that doesn't work. I even tried that at one point because I was supporting his business, kind of getting set up, and it's like, you know what, I need time, for mine. So the way that we do that is, this is going to sound so simplified, but it's just true, is a schedule. It's just true. It's just like the things that you prioritize. So we have a full-time ministry. We want that to be the priority. But if we don't intentionally make that the priority, the business completely takes over
Mm.
because it's something that we're passionate about, and it's like a it takes a lot of care, to keep your business going, to build it up and then keep it there. It's one thing to get there. Staying there is something else.
It's a whole nother level.
So so you have to keep working at it. But we've just committed to work part-time and to have these other things take priority in our relationship.
Mm.
So we schedule a lot of things, and then we're spontaneous. There will be times when my husband will knock on the door. He was like, "Do you have any clients?" And if I say no, he might say, "Let's go. We're going to the beach. We're gonna take a drive. We're gonna." Sometimes he'll just grab me. We'll dance in the living room. Just take a break,
Aw, I
or
love
we'll walk
that.
down the street. Things like that. So you have to be intentional about all the things. Whether it's your relationship with your spouse or your children or whatever you're doing. You have to put it in a schedule and be intentional about it. Otherwise, life just happens and takes you over. So that's what it is. We prioritize with a schedule and we do our best to stick to it. And when we find each other slipping, which we do, then we talk about it and just say, you've just worked like almost 13 hours straight. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So it's like, when did you eat? When did when have you rested? How was your sleep? We have to check in. And so it's good to have someone. It's great if you have someone who in your life that can support you on that. But your coaches too, use your coaches. I have multiple coaches, in different areas.
Mhm.
And sometimes some of them offer like an accountability, and that can help you too to stay balanced and stay on track.
I love that you guys do that. You do your
Mhm.
check-ins and you do like you dance in the living room. I think that's so fun.
Yeah, we
And
do.
it's really cute and it keeps everything fun. I think it's so,
Yeah,
so important in a relationship and in your business too. I always say fun is a big value of mine in my business. And for my clients too, I'm like, have some fun in your business. Don't take yourself so seriously. Go throw on some music and have your own private dance party. I'm
I
single,
love
so I can
that.
do that. But yeah, I love that you all do it together. Like that's even better. Maybe one day I'll have that. But
I
and
will say
you're
it's good to do it yourself too, because if you can't dance and enjoy yourself, you won't do it when you get married.
yeah, true,
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
Hmm.
have a little fun, be a little quirky.
Yeah.
Go dance in the
Hmm.
rain every now and then.
Yes.
And yeah, keep it fresh. And that's not only in your relationships, but also inside of your business too. So
Hmm.
that is so amazing. And I completely agree with you on the schedule. And I'm so glad that you said that because structure brings freedom.
Mm.
And it sounds counterintuitive, but it does. I live by my calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it's not getting done, most likely. And also I block off my pickup time for my kids because I don't want to I don't want a call to slip in there and then I have to cancel. So professionally, it works also to keep keep you professional, but also it gives you more freedom to be able to get things done and also have that white space, like you say. And you can block off white space, like block off some productivity time or some you time and make that a priority because for many, I know for you women out there, if you're feeling like your self-care is depleting, or you're not getting that much family time or things are slipping in where they shouldn't, then block off some time for you to overflow your cup and take that time for you. And it's okay. I like you can even block off a little power nap if you want to. It's okay.
Ooh, I love that one.
So I love that you shared schedule because I couldn't agree more. It's my number one go-to as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where can we find you, Renee, for our listeners who can't wait to connect with you? Where can we reach you or connect with you or find you?
I think the easiest place to find me would be Renee Hughes Coach on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So go over to LinkedIn, Renee Hughes Coach, and I'm right there.
Awesome. And so the name of your company is the Aroma Specialists,
Right,
correct?
correct.
Okay,
Hmm.
awesome. So, and you can go also to the aromaspecialist.com to
Yeah.
find her as well and LinkedIn. Make sure that you connect with Renee, reach out to her, get in her messages. She'll reach out back, like get to know her. She's an amazing woman. And all the links will be inside of the show notes as well. So if you are driving, you can always check out the show notes and check her out there. Um, before we wrap up, Renee, is there anything, one last tip or anything as far as your health, taking care of ourselves, or growing a business that you'd like to share?
Let me just give one last thing. There's always so much to talk about with this, right? But I would say just what you said, prioritize caring for yourself, prioritize your sleep, and oddly enough, hydration. And breathing. Those are probably the three things. We're go-getters, entrepreneurs, and we forget to breathe. And the older we get, it's just like we hold our breath. When you're working out and your trainer says like breathe, we have to like throughout the day take some moments to breathe, to hydrate, and get your sleep.
That is so good. And those are three
Mhm.
amazing tips. And I love that you shared breathing, because I was in a session with someone, what was it, a week or two ago? And she asked, like, how, take a deep breath and lower your shoulders. And I couldn't do it after the second one. And she goes, you're holding on to so much stuff. Like, you just need to put a reminder on your phone every hour to take a minute and breathe, to remind yourself
Mm.
to breathe, because you're so right. And I never realized that. And then I didn't even think about it since then until you just shared it. So even just put like your schedule, like you said, put it on your calendar and a little alert on your phone to
Yeah,
take some moment, to take a minute every hour or every so often throughout the day, to
mhm,
just take a breath and lower your shoulders,
yeah,
relax,
I
right?
love that. It's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we're juggling a lot of hats these days. And like you said,
um,
entrepreneurs are going all the time. We're always on a mission. We're always driven. And then you add, if we're females on top of it, we're juggling a lot of different hats in the home. Not to say you aren't men, you are as well. But women, we're doing all the things.
we tend to
So
do that.
we- we're
That
always holding all the balls in the
I
ring.
know, and we multitask and we do it all the
And then we
time.
wonder why our shoulders don't come down, because we're always
Right.
like this all day. And then it's like, I can do it once, but to do it twice, it
Yeah,
gets
you just couldn't do it.
challenging.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
I
So,
get it.
is there for the we've learned a lot about you, Renee, and there's so much more we can dive into, and hopefully we'll get this opportunity again if you're willing to come back on,
Oh, I'd
in
love
the
to.
future. But is there anything that we wouldn't know about Renee Hughes outside of social or your website? Like, any fun facts you can share with us?
I've got so many. It's funny, we talked about this earlier. I'm going to share this one because
Okay.
I think it's important. Being in the health and wellness industry is that I am a French fry addict. I love sharing that.
Yeah.
Because people expect you to be, and I actually have weight to lose. You can't tell as much up here, but I have weight to lose. And so sometimes people, when we expect ourselves to be perfect,
Mhm.
and why, I don't know, because nobody is. And I love what you said earlier about embracing the quirkiness. I'm very quirky. And that is one of the things, like, I enjoy my foods that I probably shouldn't indulge in as much.
Mhm.
But it's just something that I do work on. But I think it's a fun fact because when you're in this space and people see you on social media and they see people in my industry and social media and they're like, oh God, I could never be like them. And even talk about like my skin is clear and things like that. But I do have other things that indicate, yeah, I could be doing better. So I think that's important to share, and I consider it a fun fact.
It is a fun fact, and it's very important, especially when you're in the health and wellness space. Like, we do,
Mhm,
that talk goes back to our self belief about ourselves. We're the most critical about
mhm,
ourselves. And we're always going, like, looking at, like, the way the media is and showing everybody perfect and they're all getting things
mhm,
done. And that's not how the real world is. So
right,
embrace it, embrace who you are. I heard something today. I'm reading this book on Audible. I'm not reading it, I'm
mhm,
listening to it. I'm probably going to read it too, because it's more than I can consume in just when they're speaking. It's one of those books. But
yeah,
what did they say? They said, tell yourself, I love myself. I love myself. Say it over and over and over again. Like, say it multiple times and yell it. They're like, yell it in your house. Like, yell, I love myself. So I love that you shared that, because and I just heard that this morning on the way to taking
yeah,
my son to school. So
I
it's
love
just
that.
a beautiful reminder. Tell yourself that, for you,
Mhm,
those of you listening, that I love myself. It's really important
mhm,
that you love you the way you are. We're always wanting to do better and be better,
mhm,
right? That's part of our journey on earth here, I think, is to be the best version of ourselves, but also love yourself as you are and give yourself grace along that journey.
absolutely.
This has
Thank
been
you for
so
sharing
wonderful,
that too.
Renee. I've so enjoyed our conversation.
Me too.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to have you here with me today and with all of us. What can we do to support you?
Oh, that's such a great question. I'm really just get the word out to people who want to be in the health and wellness space. Maybe they haven't gotten to this space yet, and they want to be entrepreneurs. I'd love for people to follow me on that. And we have a new clinic coming up called the Client Attraction Clinic. So
Oh,
that'll probably be in the show notes as well.
yeah.
And just participate and invite people to it, creating a community specifically of health and wellness professionals and people who want to be in that space and building that community. So sharing it is a big gift to me.
Amazing. We're better together, right, Renee?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So Thank you so much for being here with me today, Renee. It's been such an amazing conversation, a lot of ahas, and thank you for sharing your journey and your story and being vulnerable and open. And your fun fact was awesome, also fantastic. Thank you for you that are joining us today. Please share this episode. Let your friends know about Renee. Share the episode and go follow Renee on LinkedIn. Go reach out to her. Check her out on our website. And we'll see you on the next episode of the S.H.E podcast. In the meantime, be seen, be heard, be empowered. Have an amazing day.